too young. Stretching before you work out might be a waste of time.
You would say that. You think it's all a waste of time,
No.
right? Well, there's a new study that says stretching before you break a sweat does not protect your muscles from injury. Shannon Riviere talked with some Bally experts to find out what you should do.
Before you work up a sweat, you warm up and stretch, right? It's what you've heard for decades.
According to this article in Nature, in the 60s, they thought that stretching actually prevented muscle spasms, but that turned out to be false.
The theory now, stretching reduces injuries and muscle soreness. Or does it?
Let's push this down.
A recent study out of the University of Sydney now says stretching does little, if anything, to reduce injury.
Completely, totally agree with that study.
Professional trainer Bill Crawford says it's actually dangerous to stretch if you do it the wrong way.
You do not ever want to stretch and put under stress cold connective tissues, cold body parts, because you are setting yourself up for an injury. The best time to stretch for the purpose of stretching is after a workout, and that's when you're really ready for it. The muscles are tired and they're loosened up.
I don't agree with that.
Bally fitness expert Ann Herr says there are benefits to stretching after a warm-up and before your workout.
That's a good thing to do, especially for people who have a lot of tightness, who don't have very good range of motion. Not only does it feel good, but it also, there's a reason why it feels good. Is because it's putting that blood back into the muscle that you've just taken out when you've done a contraction.
As for stretching to reduce muscle soreness,
I think to agree that it does, personally, because if you, again, get the blood back in the muscle, your recovery time, I think, is going to be shortened.
As for stretching to reduce injury, the study says it can't rule it out, but that the evidence is against it.
It can reduce injury risk because they're not ruling it out. It absolutely can.
Both fitness experts do agree that stretching has its purpose.
Stretching is good. It's beneficial. It increases your range of motion, especially with older people.
But when to stretch and how is ultimately up to you. Shannon Riviere, Fox 10 News.
Well, both fitness experts do agree you should always warm up first, and that would include a fast jog or a light walk, something 5 minutes. They say that should do it.
We're making note of that. Thanks, John. Coming up